and smile, 'cause it's been a while.
Well, hello, everyone. It is Lolo. This is episode number 2 of Lifing with Lolo. And so, sorry that there's just been so much of a gap between the first episode and the second episode. I'd really like to make sure that I could have content at least once a week for now. And then as I maybe gather a team or something like that, I could possibly have more content several times during the week. But since the first episode and this second episode, so much has taken place. So many things have gone on, and I'm just excited to come back here and get on here and just talk with you and let you know what's been happening with myself. Where do I begin? So let's start here. Yesterday, I had my convocation at U of T. Yay! Convocation. So that was Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. And so I'm officially University of Toronto alumni. And so it was great because I had both my mom and dad there to celebrate with me. And it was just a phenomenal experience. I was just so excited. I mean, U of T really shows out for their graduates. The service was absolutely beautiful. It was really nice to have all these dignitaries and people speaking at our convocation. We actually had a Scarborough native. His name is Mark Stoddard, and I'm actually familiar with him because I work with the Blackhurst Cultural Center. So he's familiar with the Cultural Center as well. So I know about Mark Stoddard, but I've never actually officially met him. But he actually spoke at our convocation, and it was really, really great. It was really inspiring about how he, was inspired by hip hop culture and became an activist and an artist and all that kind of stuff. So it was really fantastic. I was really blessed, and I was just really honored to be a part of that, to be there with so many of my classmates and fellow colleagues. It was just an amazing time. Really great experience. Both my mom and dad were there, and so good experience. And that's a wrap, right? Like, officially a U of T alumni. So that's really been quite awesome. And I know, as many of you may have heard, all over the news, that the Hurricane Melissa has kind of destroyed a lot of stuff that's going on in Jamaica and other surrounding places in the Caribbean as well. And, it's just so funny because my family was planning on going on a trip, to Jamaica during this time. Like right after my convocation, we were actually going to fly out. So this is just crazy that this has happened, it's just so crazy. I'm trying not to take it personally because I'm like, this would literally have been my first trip to Jamaica. So it's just almost like God is saying it's just not the time, which is so weird because everything was in alignment. Everything was like so perfect for me to have gone at this time. I'm not necessarily working or locked into a job full time at the moment. I'm finished school. My brother also, who's in the Canadian Armed Forces, he had some time off, he had to leave. My mom and dad were available. It was just the perfect timing. Everything was just going very, very smoothly and well. And then Hurricane Melissa, she just came in she just came and decimated everything. So it was just really crazy. All I can really see it is that, it just wasn't the time. Even though we tend to think, and this is something that I've had to learn, that sometimes we think we make a lot of preparations, we make a lot of plans, and we think everything is in alignment. But ultimately, God has the final say. He's sovereign, and he knows when the time is right and when it's not right. And clearly, it's just not the right time. And I mean, I'm trying not to look at this very selfishly as well. Like, so I missed out on a trip, but a lot of people in Jamaica are suffering damage to their property. Some people even lost lives. I heard a couple of casualties actually took place there. So, I'm trying not to see it just from, it just interrupted my plans. We got to pray for the people in Jamaica and the surrounding Caribbean islands as well, that, restoration will take place and all that kind of stuff. People will come to their aid as well to help them. So having said all that, it's been a very fascinating week. A lot has happened. If you want, also take a look at my LinkedIn profile. I'm not really much on other pieces of social media like TikTok and things like that. I haven't really ventured into that avenue, but I am on LinkedIn and I have a profile there. It's just Lenora Clarke, LenoreClarke, Lenora Clarke on LinkedIn. And I have a bunch of different things like more business related things that I also post there as well. So you can also take a look at some of the things that I've been doing there with eCamp. This is an organization that is spearheaded by my dad, Dr. Leroy Clark. And so he's doing a lot of work in the community with youth. And so we had an amazing career panel, and I was actually hired for my first gig as a professional volunteer. That's kind of what I've been branding myself as I've graduated from my program at U of T. And so as a professional volunteer, I was hired for my first gig as a host for the career panel. There was a Q&A section, and he just wanted me to facilitate and moderate that section. And so I did that, and it was an awesome experience. That was on Tuesday, October 28th at the Audley Recreation Center in Ajax, Ontario. So that was a fun experience. We had a great time. You know, we kind of transitioned into a drumming circle that was led by Alicia McMillan, who also works alongside Dr. Clark with eCamp as well. So she led out with the drumming circle, and it was fantastic. It was beautiful. The students had an awesome time on their djembe drums and everything. It was just great. It was a collaborative unity. You know, it just felt like they're really healing through rhythm and song. So it was just a fantastic experience. So that has all just been this week, believe it or not. So it's just been a whirlwind of different things happening around me. So it's just really great. I'm really enjoying this time out, being free from undergrad and, you know, exploring all these other different avenues. So yeah, that's just what that's been about. Yeah, so picking up a little bit off of the last episode that I had shared with you, I wanted to talk a little bit more about health, right? Because essentially this is what I'm calling a holistic vlog. And so what I'd love to really discuss on this platform is different aspects of health from all different types of avenues, different types of multidisciplinary ways of looking at health, basically, is how I kind of want to navigate on around health and what that means, health and wellness and all those kinds of things. So I guess I'll talk a little bit more about my journey because I think that might be able to resonate with a lot of people who are dealing with some of the similar issues that I've been going through. And so I kind of touched on it a little bit that I had shared with you that I struggled with mental health in the past. And so I am now on a journey to transition out of using a lot of pharmaceuticals and, those kinds of things in order to treat this unique situation, because sometimes we like to say disorder or disease and stuff like that, and I just like to reframe the conversation when it comes to these kinds of things, because I think people are very unique. We're different. We all deal with different types of things, but it's not necessarily disorder or disease. It just means we need to look at and think about it differently, reframe the conversation when it comes to these kinds of things. Our minds are absolutely beautiful. They are designed and intelligently designed and structured in a way that gives us our unique personality. And so I wouldn't like to really call this disease or disorder, whatever you really want to call it, condition, whatever, at the end of the day. But so basically how I'm seeing it is like how I'm going to navigate looking at and reframing how I want to treat this type of unique situation. So going back a little bit to the story is that I was put on, a number of drugs when I was 18, around 16, 17, 18. So in high school. And so I've been on them for a really long time. I don't know if I'll get into specifics about which ones that I was put on, but I will tell you was on a number of them. And so fast forwarding to now, where I'm now kind of transitioning off of these medications, I'm actually taking a number of different supplements to support my brain during this transition. And I think that's the main thing when we're talking about these kinds of things. And I think number one, I'd like to talk about how it's not necessarily either or at this point. Right now, it's more a combination of both therapies to help me through this transition. So it's a combination of using, yes, the pharmaceuticals to help me because I've been on them a long time, and I want to caution you very much so. If you haven't listened to anything that I've been saying about this, I'm going to say very much so with things like antipsychotics. Listen to this. With things like antipsychotics, if you just come off of them cold turkey, I'm telling you, you will actually, that is very, very dangerous. That is something that I would definitely caution against doing. Coming off of them cold turkey, any of them, you may experience a lot of terrible side effects. One of them being heart attack or stroke. Another one being a possible relapse. You know what I'm saying? If you struggle with certain disorders like schizophrenia or bipolar 1 disorder or anything like that, you could have a major relapse and end up in the hospital. And that's the last thing that you really want right now. So I would definitely caution you, if you are going to possibly talk with your doctor or your healthcare practitioner about transitioning off of pharmaceuticals, that you definitely taper. And there's many different ways that you can do that, tapering off the medication. Some go little by little at a time. There's many different places that you can find information about this on YouTube. I kind of was looking at this one on YouTube. It was called Taper Clinic. I can't remember the name of the doctor, but I think it's called Taper Clinic, and he tells you different ways that you can do this very safely. And I think the recommendation is no more than 5% that you decrease from your medication. So this is kind of the safe kind of paradigm, the safe kind of, sorry, not paradigm, but the safe increment that you want to decrease your medication.
Wake up and smile, 'cause it's been a while. It's been like a whole day since I stopped so you could hold me. This child awaits, strong in